can't imagine having not had my leg anymore. I wasn't taking care of my leg either. I just got really lucky. Like, you have to have your leg. When I looked up Kerecis, I was like, that just seems healthy. That seems like a really healthy option. And I was like, perfect, Dad. I did a little forgery. I put in his information and they actually reached out to him.
You know, being the father of the patient and then being the doctor of the patient is pretty unique. You know, I empathize with her. You know, she's a girl, she's got a wound on her leg. She could have lost her leg. You know, all those things go through your head. And she's concerned.
I don't know what I would have done or where I would have been without Kerecis. I went to visit a friend in Bermuda, and I remember it like yesterday. We were out on boats in the water. My friend and I took a picture together and fell back into the water, and I felt an instant cutting feeling to my leg, and I had no idea what it was. And when I came out the water, I looked down and saw a chunk of my flesh, like barely hanging on to my leg, barely attached. So we make it to the hospital. I am freaking out, but I know that in these situations, anything medical, I was like, we have to call my dad first.
When I initially heard about Alana's accident, I immediately went into surgery mode. And he did a very good job by explaining that it was an avulsion injury and that he's going to be able to close the skin and cover it up and wrap her up and send her home.
When I got back, I saw a lot of doctors. I was receiving a lot of treatments. I thought, you know, it was gonna take 3 months. And those 3 months, by the time we got to like 4 or 5, I was really, really impatient. So I remember he was like, this is your leg. We have to do more. You're not doing enough to take care of your leg. Like, this is a really, really big deal. I was just giving up, and I was risking, you know, what they call it, a bone infection, possible amputation if it were to get infected. And I can't imagine having not had my leg anymore. I wasn't taking care of my leg either. I just got really lucky. Like, you have to have your leg. And I was just like, wow, like, you're right. Like, duh, of course. So I went to the doctor and I said everything that, you know, I told them I was fed up. I needed some options. They walked me through some different skin graft options. The lady, as she's reading the chart, she sets it down and leaves the room. And I grabbed the chart, and when I looked up Kerecis and saw that it was, you know, a codfish from Iceland, I was like, that just seems healthy. That seems like a really healthy option. I went on the website, and then as I'm scrolling on the website, there's a portion of it that was like physicians only. Fill out, you know, if you're a surgeon, your email, your phone number, and press submit. And I was like, perfect, Dad. I did a little forgery. I put in his information, and they actually reached out to him.
The assistant from the Kerecis rep, David Pittman, was outstanding. Alana had made the initial contact with him, and he looked me up and called me.
So he tells me they reached out, and I said, this is the only skin graft that I'm comfortable getting. And I think, and I want to do it. Like, I really want to do it. This isn't healing fast enough for me.
We made arrangements for her to come to my office and have the Kerecis applied there. And I mean, from start to finish, when we undressed the wound, looked at it, cleaned it up, he was right over my shoulder, I'll never forget, instructing me on how much to cut, how to trim it to size, how much I needed, how to wrap it up. And he's very good about telling Alana and her fiance what to do and how to take care of it after that.
How is this interacting with my body? And I was just really anxious to see it. After the first week, it dissolved right into my skin the way it's supposed to. I had a really good reaction to the Kerecis. There was nothing negative.
You know, when I first saw the fish skin, and you're looking at Alana, Alana's African American, she's got brown skin, and the fish skin was more of a white, light gray looking material. Those fears have now been long gone, because if you look at that wound now, it all looks the same color as her skin. Every time she came back, the wound was much better and it was much smaller. You know, being the father of the patient and then being the doctor of the patient is pretty unique. And it required me to I've had patients, young women and men, whose parents are just, they're at their last, their wits' end. They don't know what to do. It hurt me to see my daughter have to go through this, because I know she was worried about losing her leg and getting an infection, which thank goodness she never did. But when it comes time for me to step up and do what I need to do as a father, I do that. It's special because I had to go back and forth. You know, I empathize with her.
So after that first week, we did a before and after picture and saw that it had really, and you know, you're measuring in like millimeters, but it has shrunk. And so that made me so excited. Like, okay, so what is the next week gonna do? I was just moving better. I was so thankful and so grateful. I don't know what I would have done or where I would have been without Kerecis.
It was just, it was a very special time for us. And I think it's one of those times, I've thought about it since then, that'll forever link us. When I'm long gone, you know, Alana's gonna look back and remember when her father stepped up when he had to and took good care of her. And to see the response that the Kerecis made and the improvement it made in such a short time, after we had been so patient for 8 months to get this wound finally closed, it was Kerecis that took us across the finish line.
When it closed for good, I will never forget, I was on a road trip. I was in Woodside, California, and we went and I jumped into a swimming pool for the first time to celebrate like the wound finally being closed. And so the journey was over. The journey had ended, and yeah, it really, really helped me and it gave me hope.